One question I get asked all the time is, can I buy an investment property with no money down and no deposit? Back a long time ago, I wouldn't think that was possible, but you certainly can. If you're asking that question, it's likely because you've heard about the wonderful world of real estate investing. But you're also thinking about the terrible world of I don't have much cash, so how the heck am I going to get involved in this? So in today's video, I'm going to cover 3 things you need to understand about how to buy real estate with no money down. And at the end of the video, I'm going to drop a bomb. I'm going to tell you this. It's all about solving a problem, and I'm going to tell you how to solve the most important problem that will make this incredibly successful for you. So let's dive in. I'm Chris Naugle, and I'm here to teach you how to become the bank. The first thing you need to understand is if you're going to go about getting into real estate, you're going to need some credibility. You're going to need to have a reputation and be associated with somebody that does. I mean, come on. If you're brand new to this and you get on the phone with a seller who's got a problem, they're going to hang up on you. They're not going to want to hear about you, anything you have to say. And if you go into any situation where you don't know what you're doing, you can't talk about other deals you've done, you have no track history, then how are they going to take you serious? Well, here's the solution to that. Associate yourself with somebody that does have your reputation. Partner up with somebody that's done hundreds of deals like myself. Because when I call somebody, I'm like, I've done 270 deals and we have solved X amount of problems. That was a terrible example, but you get the point. Because I've done so many deals, I have your reputation. When they look me up online, you can see I've done this. Now, maybe you haven't, but don't let that be your barrier to entering real estate. Don't let that be the one thing that you focus on and you build up all this fear because, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. I've never done it before. Find somebody that has and find a way to solve their problem. You know what? The best way people could solve my problem? Time. There's just only so much of it. And I'll bet you I'm not alone. I bet you there's a ton of really credible real estate investors that lack time or they want more time back. And guess what you have? You're brand new. You're eager. You're optimistic. You want to do this. You've got time. You see how we just solved 2 people's problems? So the second most important part is you got to negotiate. So you want to buy a deal and you don't want to put any money down. So how are you going to do that? All in the details. It's how you negotiate the deal. The first and most important thing you're going to have to identify is, why does this person want to sell? Maybe they tell you they don't want to sell. Everybody's got a price. So what if you went to somebody and you said, hey, listen, I'll pay you full price for your house. How much do you want? Great. And these people are super excited. The husband and wife are kicking each other under the table saying,
oh my God, this idiot's going to give us full price for our house. Nobody was going to give us that much.
You see, haven't got to the good stuff. You'll pay whatever price they want, but it's your terms. Or it's their terms, your price. You see what I'm saying? You negotiate the terms of the deal. And when you control the terms, you also control the way they receive their money. You see, you can buy deals all the time with no money out of pocket because they have a problem, they want a certain amount, but they probably don't need all that money up front. And if they do, maybe it's not a fit. But there are other ways you can negotiate a deal with no money out of pocket. You might be able to partner up with somebody that has money and you don't have the money, so you find the deal, you negotiate the terms, they bring the money. You see, we're just talking about 2 different ways to do it. Number 1 is find somebody that wants full price for the property, but it's on your terms. Maybe you take over the payments on their mortgage. Maybe you pay them whatever they want in a 5-year period or a 3-year, whatever your terms are, that's what you do. Or find somebody, the second way, find somebody to partner with that has money, but they don't know how to find the deals, and go in and find the deal, negotiate the terms, bring their money to the table. Listen, just because you're not going to make as much doesn't matter, because you know what? Making nothing is the worst problem. So if you only make half or you only make 20% of the deal, is that a bad day? Nope. You didn't bring any money to the table. So your return on that is infinite. And it wouldn't matter if you only made 5%. What is your time worth? So now we're going to talk about the most important thing, and that is solving somebody else's problem. But before we get into the most important part of this, let's just recap the things we talked about already. The first thing we discussed is You need to have credibility. You need to have a reputation. You got to have some type of track history. So if you don't, find somebody that does. And the second point we talked about is the negotiation of the deal. And I gave you 2 examples. Their price, your terms, or somebody else's money, and you negotiate the rest. And now comes the moment you've all been waiting for. And this is why you stayed this long. I'm going to drop the bomb of the most important part of getting a deal with no money out of pocket. Everything you're going to do with this revolves around one magic thing. And it's simple. You have to solve the seller's problem. You have to figure out what it is the seller really needs and wants to make this happen with the proper terms and the proper structure of the deal. So how do you do that? You learn how to care. I know that seems so foreign, so difficult, but it does matter. If you show up and your intention is money, 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 and just get right to the thing, you're done. You're done before you even get started. But if you show up and you start asking what the problems are, what problem does the seller have? Are they in trouble? Are they behind on their mortgage payments? Are they moving out of state? Do they have a sick parent, a sick relative that they need to go take care of? What is the problem? See, once you understand the seller's problem, the world is yours. Well, not really, but you get the point. You then have one goal: solve the problem. Zig Ziglar said it best. He said, if you help enough people get what they want, you will get everything that you want. But if you start with everything you want, you will get nothing. Does that make sense? In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are about that. I want to know if you truly understand what we call the 5th law of wealth. The 5th law is the number one thing you got to do is help other people. Real estate and what we're talking about here gives you the ultimate way to do that, because it's one of the biggest purchases of most families' lives. And right now, people are hurting. Inflation's out of control. Housing is very expensive. And people might start losing their jobs or getting laid off as this recession gets in. So this is your time to shine. But it's also your time to solve someone else's problem, not yours. Let me give you an example. 6 months ago, I had the opportunity to solve a really big problem. You see, there was this deal. It was this great deal that would have sold 100 times over, but the problem was the person that owned the house passed away. So now the estate owned the house, and the estate was running out of money, but they wouldn't let anybody know that. They sold it right off the bat, full price, but the guy couldn't close on the deal. His financing fell through. So now all of a sudden, the estate is completely out of money. The family members didn't want to put money back into the estate, so they had one choice: sell the property for what was owed. How was it that that problem was brought to me? Well, a relationship. The attorney that was in that deal knew us, and they knew we had the ability to close on a deal just like that. They brought the deal, and of course they played hardball. They had their price, and I said, we'll give you exactly what's owed. We settled on that deal for $405,000, which was $5,000 more than what they owed on the property. You want to know how much we sold it for? $675,000. What did I do different than what you would have done? Just one thing. I understood the problem, and I solved it. You can do the same thing. The problem you solved might be different than the problem I solved, but you know what? Every single seller of everything out there in the world has a problem. Identify it, and then you are in control. Hey, if you like this video, you got to check that video right there out. How I lost $534,000 using the infinite banking concept. So you probably heard me say that, how I lost $534,000 with the infinite banking concept. And you're probably thinking, how is that even possible? That's a guaranteed concept. Well, I'll tell you exactly how I did it, but it's not what you think. So you got to watch that video, and at the end of it, you will see how I literally pulled the curtains back for something nobody else is talking about. Check it out.